Informed, outspoken, wild, fearless. This is the Fantasy Football Dudes Podcast.
What is up, my dudes? This is Trent with the Fantasy Football Dudes Podcast. We are doing our Christmas award show, and I am joined by the one and only The Fantasy Dad. You can give him a follow at TFF Dad, guys. So go give him a follow. Finally got him here sort of in the flesh, I guess in the digital flesh. He's got some antlers on his head. You will want to tune in and watch this one on YouTube at TFF Dudes. Going to have a lot of fun images on the screen, all kinds of good stuff. But TFF Dad, also known as Tom.
Yes.
Is that right? Okay.
Yes, that is my lesser-known name on the X.
Yeah.
But I can't believe it. Finally on the Dudes Podcast. It's been 2 seasons in the making here.
2 seasons, but better late than ever, I guess. So
I'm pumped. I mean, we did this actually. I don't know how many people actually remember it, but we did this idea in the article last season,
and it was great.
Yeah, we did it, but we figured this year let's get together and do it live on the pod. I'm excited about it. You're excited about it, Jen. Jen, you excited about this? She's pumped. You hear her?
Oh, I can't, but I'm sure she is. Like, your microphone's really advanced, so I'm sure it doesn't pick up any background noise. I hardly recognize you without Biscuit jumping on your lap and stuff like that. So
they're all in bed right now. I can't guarantee that one of them's not going to invade the space during the podcast one more time, but we're going to do our best here.
Yeah, and you're not in the garage bar.
I felt like the echo is so strong in the garage bar that I didn't want to bring it into the podcast. I feel like whenever I do the videos on it, it's got an echo that I got to work on, but it's too cool of a place not to sit in most of the time. So
I agree. So I'm looking at this. You made up these awards yourself, Tom. So I'm gonna let you run through them. And I also have some awards also. And you actually have a new sponsor here. I'm going to go off your awards also. And I'm going to let you give your new sponsor plug here in a couple of seconds here. Maybe after about two awards, we'll give you, you can do your plug there for your sponsorship right there for anyone who's joined. And let's get in. So some of the awards we're going to go over today, we have the Grinch Award, the Fragile Award, the Frosty the Snowman, Rudolph, Buddy the Elf, all kinds of good awards here, guys. This is going to be a fun show. Really excited. So do you want to take it from here, Tom, or we got the Grinch Award. I think I kind of know where you're going with this. I'm curious to see if we have the same answers on some of these.
Oh, this is going to be fun. If you have some of your answers right, it's going to be fun. I actually I worked on this. The way I did the article last year is me and my buddy Phil talked a lot of work, and we just started naming Christmas characters that would match with fantasy guys we were frustrated with, happy with, or whatever. So I got him in the loop, and he helped me do some of these this year. So it's been a lot of fun making this. This is a blast to make, and I hope we can keep doing it every year. But all right,
I like it. I'm glad we're actually doing it as an episode, not just an email, because this is just more fun to go listen to in a few years or whatever, in a few months and something like this. I think it's a good time. People can hear us laughing. They might laugh, all that good stuff. And remember, give us a sub, guys, on YouTube at TFF Dudes. And so we got the Grinch Award, Tom. We got the
Grinch Award. So the Grinch Award goes to someone who started off as a miserable option in fantasy team, just like the Grinch started off, just a miserable person sitting on a mountain trying to steal Christmas. But by season's end, this person's heart grew 3 sizes, and he saved Christmas, or in our case, our fantasy season. I'm going to give the Grinch Award to someone, especially I didn't expect to be giving it to a Patriot. I'm going to give it to Ezekiel Elliott. If you thought about him at the beginning of the season, he seemed like one lousy option. But I'm telling you, he's starting to look like a pretty decent option these days for a flex play.
I like that, and that's actually appropriate. He kind of looks like the Grinch, I would say.
He kind of looks like the Grinch. He does.
He's been compared to an Ewok before. I don't know if he's been compared to the Grinch.
Yep.
So that's not bad. I like that one. Mine is still like pre-Grinch, okay? And I think this guy might find himself
before he turns. This is before the hawk grows.
Yeah, we're still in this, And
yes.
I have Arthur Smith. He has no friends.
Oh.
He doesn't care. He doesn't care about your fantasy team. I don't even know if he cares about his own team. But here's the deal. maybe now that your team's out of playoffs, Arthur Smith gives the ball to Bijan Robinson, 19 times this week, and he has 2 touchdowns and saves his job.
I just want him to be fired this week. That would be the perfect thing right there, wouldn't it be?
Perfect. But don't you think he's going to end up, being like this good guy? Like, look what I did. Kyle Pitts got the ball.
I don't know. You think the heart's going to grow 3 sizes this week? And then
it could. I don't think it is. I this is pre-Grinch, but it wouldn't surprise me if something like that happens where it's like, and partly I think ownership's to blame because you have high draft capital on these guys and you're not demanding they get played. You know what I'm saying? Like you're just fine with Arthur Smith just, not delivering his Christmas packages, not to make fun of FedEx or anything. Like I'm tempted to not even use FedEx anymore. I'm so upset with him. But
I hate to break the Christmas spirit, but after this week with Arthur Smith, I didn't know it was possible to hate someone that I've never met, but I'm feeling pretty strongly this weekend. I mean, luckily my team moved on to the semifinals with Bijan getting, negative 0.10 or something like that? It's ridiculous. So,
yeah,
unbelievable. But
Grinch Award, I had Arthur Smith. And you had Ezekiel Elliott. Forgot to put. I get Ezekiel.
I'm definitely going with the turnaround at the end, the happy ending. But hey, I would love for yours to end up being the full Grinch story this week without the Smith. But
we could. I don't hold your breath. Just
I'm not hopeful. I'm just it would be nice. But all right. So the next award, moving on now. Everyone knows the movie Christmas Story. If you don't, you can catch it during the 24-hour marathon every year around Christmas Eve to Christmas Day. The dad in the Christmas Story gets a major award. He gets a leg lamp. Everyone knows the leg lamp, and right on the box it says fragile, or as he pronounces it, fragile. It must be Italian, he says. So the Fragile Award, based on the famous leg lamp, goes to a player that looks like a major award. You're ready to shine it up and strut it out there and show it off, but turns out in the end it's just fragile. That's going to go to Aaron Rodgers this year because, man, did they march him out there and make a big display about him just for him to come right out and fall apart like that lamp in the window.
Do you think he comes back? Does the lamp make a comeback here?
I think if they won Sunday, he would have, but I don't think so now. I'd be shocked. I don't see why he would come back now.
Other than just the only reason I think he could do it is just to prove, if he comes back, does he deserve comeback player of the year? To come back that short notice as an Achilles injury, I don't think he cares about that. But I do think it'd just be kind of like, look what I did.
Well, he does love his own legend. So I could see that happening just for that alone. But, I mean, up to now, I couldn't believe it. That first game, still, you see them, he came out, I believe they were celebrating 9/11. He came running out with the flag. The fans were going crazy, starting the Aaron Rodgers era in New York. And I went to wash a dish, and my oldest son goes, Rodgers is done. And I thought he was just messing with me because I had Garrett Wilson in a lot of places. And I'm like, okay, that's funny. And he goes, no, really, he's in the tent. I think he just tore something. I couldn't believe it, but, he definitely earns that Fragile Award. I went through a lot of people. I kind of thought a little bit for A-Chain when he left for a while and came back and got hurt. But he seems like he's right in the ship. Justin Jefferson was of note, but I feel like you're really going to go back to the man, Aaron Rodgers, in this one, just running out there and falling apart. So
maybe mine here has to do with more of just history and altogether. I have Ravens running backs, like all of them. You have J.K. Dobbins tearing his Achilles. Keaton Mitchell goes down last night.
Did you see that injury?
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Oh, yikes. I was mad that I had to see it, but yeah.
Yeah, and so I have him in fantasy football, and I love Keaton Mitchell. He looks like a really good player, but just Ravens running backs just can't stay healthy, and they don't play on turf either. Like, it's grass. It doesn't really make sense to me, but like J.K. Dobbins, Keaton Mitchell's now on the list. I'm hoping they like
it's kind of a curse.
They kind of want to play anyone but Gus Edwards, but he's just kind of there by default.
He's the last man standing, that's all. But it's funny because I had the CJ Stroud owner of one of my leagues he has a bye, but he was panicking about next week, so he grabbed Joe Flacco, and in turn he dropped Keaton Mitchell. And I was so excited before game time to grab Keaton Mitchell yesterday, but as soon as I grabbed him, he ended up getting dropped because I saw that injury, and I'm like, yeah, he's not coming back right away from that thing.
Yeah,
but it was a shame. But I can see that though, Ravens running backs. But all right, let's move on to this next award here. This goes the Frosty the Snowman Award. There he is. So the Frosty the Snowman Award goes to someone who should be ice cold, but in big fantasy moments, he melts. I'm sad to say it this year, but at his ADP, you had high hopes for this person, super high hopes for him, and you expected him to just be lights out week in, week out, and he has failed you every week in fantasy. Pat Mahomes gets the Frosty the Snowman Award. Every time I've counted on him, and I'm not saying it's completely his fault, but in fantasy, you're not blaming his wide receivers and stuff. You're blaming those, you're expecting 25 points a week, 28 points a week, and you're getting 15 points a week. If you drafted him, he hurt you.
No, yeah, absolutely. I was looking at, I took it off here, but I was looking at, I was looking at just, guys who are ahead of him. There's a lot of guys who are ahead of him that got drafted a lot later than him. I think he's QB 8 or 9 on the season. That's not what you drafted Patrick Mahomes for.
No.
My Frosty the Snowman Award goes to none other than, and this one hurts me, probably worse than that one hurts you. I have Dak Prescott. Right when you start liking him, he melts.
This is fresh, this one, isn't it?
Every time. This one hurts. I don't know if it's exactly his fault always, but it unfortunately, it just every single time. Once it becomes a big game, it just doesn't work out for whatever reason.
It's funny because I've always in my life have been one of those people that root against the Cowboys, but now knowing how much you love the Cowboys, I feel a little bit of the sting now when they lose because I'm like, he's not happy right now.
No,
but plus, fantasy alone, they're so relevant to the team. So when they do bad, they're hurting me somewhere,
Yeah,
but,
and Dak fantasy wise, he's been carrying your fantasy football team, for the last couple of weeks, and you hit the playoffs and he just falls apart, which it's really unfortunate, for all the, I was telling people on Twitter to start him over Patrick Mahomes this past week.
I would definitely. I've said that too. Yeah, I was starting a lot of people with Pat Mahomes, but Dak to me, there were some better options they were asking me, but he's just been on fire so much that it's just so hard not to start him.
Yeah.
But go figure though. As soon as you get behind him, like you said, Frosty, he melts.
Yeah. So
but, are you okay after last night? Are you?
I'm hanging in there. I'm hanging in there. Yeah, I was kind of starstruck on the pod yesterday, just a little tongue-tied, didn't know what to say. Sometimes you just don't want to go on the pod and talk. You just want to, cry on a little ball and cry.
I feel like that a lot in life. But I will tell you, though, I want you to do me a solid, speaking of our favorite teams, straight through the playoffs, fantasy playoffs, real playoffs. Please keep picking against the Lions for me.
Okay.
Because it's working out. I believe you are the reason that when they win. Because every time you become behind Goff, it doesn't work out well. So I think there's some connection here.
Goff was my sit of the week last week, and he finished his QB1. So
I love it.
Yeah. And what about
the second you said you went against the Lions on that one? I thought, oh, nice, they're going to win this week.
What about it's looking like Rams and Lions are going to play each other in playoffs?
Yeah,
have you seen that?
Yeah, I've seen that stuff. But the Lions right now, I can't even. Not that I think they're a fraud team or whatever, but man, that secondary is bad right now. They can't. I don't know. And plus, their offense with Goff can't usually keep up with how much points they're giving up. But you know what? They won yesterday. I'll be happy. I'll let you be the one crying in a ball today, and I'll celebrate for a week. But all right, let's move on here to the next award. We got the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer Award. There he is. The Rudolph I can't talk all of a sudden. The Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer Award goes to a rookie who initially was not taken in the draft. In almost every league I was in, this person just went straight to the waiver wires and sat there, especially after week one, sat there. And he was just, told to go away, just like Rudolph, But by the season's end, he was leading Santa's sleigh. I'm going to give it to the rookie, C.J. Stroud, this year. I feel like he was, to me, outside of having he's concussed right now, that's nothing you can control. Hopefully he's back this week. I hear he's still suffering from some headaches and stuff, but he has really been that waiver wire grab that's just led your team, especially if you had, Anthony Richardson, Joe Burrow. He's really stepped it up and been that QB1 for you. What do you think?
That's really good. No, I like that one. I think that's good. Mine, what I have here, maybe it's not as long season long, but I have James Cook. I think he's here to save Christmas. He kind of got put on the shelf for a little bit. They brought in Leonard Fournette, Latavius Murray. I wish I would use Latavius Murray as much as I have, but I think James Cook is here to, to plunge you through the playoffs to get you to the championship. I think he's going to be a very popular championship rostered player.
I agree. It does seem like yesterday they definitely figured out, how to fix some of their woes over there in Buffalo, because they're not forcing Allen into those situations where he just has to make one of those crazy downfield throws. And I think one of you guys said it on the show, the most recent show, about it's definitely costing Gabe Davis, because he's not just launching it up in the air. But I think as far as the team goes and James Cook's fantasy value, certainly it's great. I mean, if you can see James Cook, though, once in a while he gets a little bit of the fumbleitis, but I think he'll grow out of that. And yeah, he looked great last night. I mean, much to your dismay, but yeah, he looked great.
I was torn because I'm in fantasy playoffs. I'm the commissioner in the Dude League. I've never won it. I really want to win it. They say there's a commissioner's curse, I have Josh Allen and James Cook on my team, and I'm watching them just plow my Cowboys. And I just don't I'm just so mixed emotionally on how to feel about that. You know what I'm saying? Because I want the Cowboys, but I want to win.
When it comes down to it, where does your loyalty lie? With your fantasy team or with your team? Honest answer here.
I want to say my team. I want James Cook and Josh Allen to score 100 points each, but I want the Cowboys to win. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I want a good game out of them, but I want my team to win.
I always I want to say, I feel like the right answer is to say my team, but I know I'd be lying to you and everyone listening to this if I said it. It's the fantasy team every time, it's I want my fantasy team every single time.
What has your team done for you, and what has your fantasy team done for you? You know what I'm saying?
That's exactly it. Yep. That's how I look at it. I mean, Lions have given me a lot of misery. That's what they've done for me. But I always find that funny because I feel like everyone answers their team, but I feel like that's just the right answer, that people want to hear. But come on, you're sitting there and your fantasy team's down. You're happy when a team's going off against them sometimes.
Yeah, but what I'm really happy about is when I get to make fun of Jordan for the Cowboys winning later. So it's it's mixed. You know what I'm saying? So that's and Phil and Seth. I like making fun of those guys when my team wins because they come after me. So
you guys were on each other pretty hard this week. I mean, you guys might need a couple of days off. It was quite a busting chops fest going on this week.
We're taking, me and Jordan are playing each other in semifinals right now, and so we're going to take Christmas off. I don't think we need to record on Christmas Eve because I don't think anyone's going to listen on Christmas morning. So sorry to our listeners. You do have this extra pod here right now.
You got this. Yep.
But we will not have a recap next week. So just putting that out there in advance. What else do we got here, Tom? What other awards?
We got the Buddy the Elf Award from the movie The Elf. There he is. That's a good one there. The Buddy Elf Award goes to a player who went from one team and traveled through the 7 levels of the candy cane forest to find happiness and success with another team. This year, that player goes to DJ Moore because he has had one hell of a season in Chicago, and there's not a lot of happiness in Chicago this year. But I think DJ Moore has found happiness in Chicago from Carolina to Chicago.
And Tom, he said today that he doesn't think any of the quarterbacks in the draft are better than Justin Fields. So it does seem like he's happy, which I don't know if that's true.
I don't think that's true, but I mean, I don't know. I've been watching some of those games lately, and Fields does seem like he is starting to come around, and I've been a huge doubter of his arm progressing, and it actually seems like it's a little better, but he still makes a lot of bad decisions and stuff, but I can see why DJ Moore's happy with him. He seems to always find him downfield.
Yeah, and look what the numbers DJ Moore's done his whole career. The numbers he's put up with the quarterbacks he's had.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? He was pretty young with Cam Newton. He was there with Cam Newton, right? I believe he was.
I mean, he must have been at least at one point when he came back from the Patriots. So, right?
Oh, yeah, that too. But so that mine here, your descriptions of the awards are really good. But my Buddy the Elf Award goes to Kadarius Toney. I'm not sure if he really knows what's going on. He just seems to be happy that he's there. He messes up in a game and he goes on Twitter and makes fun of Giants fans. It's like, what are you doing, man? You are the biggest bonehead in the league. He's just happy. You know what I mean?
There is no bigger bonehead this year than Kadarius Toney. That is for sure. Yeah. As far as just the happy no matter what Buddy the Elf side of it, I can totally see that because he has no idea what's going on around him or what he's been doing on the field.
He might come around and win him a big game too, though. You know what I'm saying? Like the Super Bowl, his punt return. So he does every once in a while do some crazy things that maybe wins him the game or something. I don't know if he'll be able to get out of his own head this year. I think he's too messed up. with all the drop passes.
It's just it's so ugly. It's so ugly right now, but he's talented. I'll give him that, but he's definitely living in his own head.
Yeah.
But let's move on here. We got the Bah Humbug Award. Everyone knows the Christmas Carol with Ebenezer Scrooge, and how we're just going to focus more on just the misery of the Bah Humbug. So the Bah Humbug Award goes to someone that just spoiled your lineup every single week. You wanted to have a Merry Christmas, but this guy just humbugged all over it. And I'm not happy about this one. But if you took him in the first round, you're feeling very Bah Humbug about Austin Eckler this year.
Yeah.
His time might be up. He might be what I thought Derrick Henry was going to be this year. But Henry might have some mileage left. But maybe Austin Eckler's all out of mileage. I don't know. What do you think?
I agree with it 100%. He should have took the payment that he was offered this last year. I thought, like, I'm never an Austin Eckler guy.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that he didn't take the money, contract year, I was kind of like, hey, he's to be good. Because remember, he didn't practice a lot this offseason.
No.
Like, he was kind of in negotiations about his contract. I was actually more excited about Austin Eckler this year than I ever have been. Like, I was really low on him last year. This year, I was really high. Maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I'm the Austin Eckler, Reaper or whatever it is, But
yep.
It's been brutal. Like, I don't know if there's any fantasy. I know guys that made playoffs with Austin Eckler. I don't know if they won their matchup with Austin Eckler. Like you've had
my buddy in my home league, my buddy Tim, he took Austin Eckler at number 3 over Christian McCaffrey, or number 2, I think, 2 or 3 over Christian McCaffrey, and he still texted me last night how he's just like it haunts him, and I can see that. But it's disappointing because I love Austin Eckler. I've used to always have him on my team. I didn't have him this year, which worked out for me, but it's always bad when you have a fantasy darling like that. Kind of, you see them going out to pasture,
Yeah, absolutely. I have here, I have like a little one. I have Roger Goodell. Like, I just want him to leave football alone. Like, if they didn't if they didn't add one more rule to the NFL, I would be absolutely happy. Not healthy.
Yes.
I'd be absolutely happy. We don't need any more rules. This isn't Congress where we have to make a new rule every single January. Like, just leave the game alone. We all like it. Like, the tush push, it's part of the game. Some teams can run it, some teams can't. Let's not punish teams just because they're better at it than other teams. So, like, just leave the rules alone. Quit fining players for hits. You want to give them a penalty or whatever. That's one thing. But, like Jaylen Warren losing his whole entire paycheck for the week over running the ball and putting his helmet down a little bit. Like, it's just ridiculous. And so I think that's my Bah Humbug for the year. And hopefully I have something a little bit more creative next year, because I think he'll be the same thing next year again. He's
probably going to be back. The tush push has been a hot subject on the dudes this season.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I feel like, because I hear about it a lot with you guys. So
yeah, it keeps getting brought up that they want to get rid of that play. They think it's an unfair advantage, but
I don't see why.
No one runs it as good as the Eagles. Like, Carson Wentz was successful with it too at the Eagles, and they, what I mean? So there's no need to really go after it, but yeah, that's mine is Goodell. I just feel like he's changing the game that I love. Like, I just want no more rules. And
we want to keep the tush push.
I want to keep
Jen. You want to keep the tush push? Thumbs up. She gives me. All right, we're moving on here. We got the Cousin Eddie Award from National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Now, Cousin Eddie, he's that guy you're not happy to see in the holidays. Everyone, I assume, has that relative, or at least a close friend or something.
You're not happy, but he's needed.
He's needed, yeah. But in the end, he does more good than bad for you.
Yeah.
And having said that, this is hard for me, this one, because last year I was very high on this person, and they hurt me really bad. But the Cousin Eddie Award goes to a guy you don't feel great about in your lineup all season, but in the end, he actually helped you out. Mr. Cortland Sutton. After last year, I hated seeing him back in my lineup doing good, because I wanted it so bad last year, and still looks ugly when I see him in there, but him and Russell Wilson, they've finally clicked this season. So I think he deserves that award.
That's That's actually a really good one. I actually like Cousin Eddie, probably because I am the Cousin Eddie of my family.
Oh,
You know what I'm
great. I
saying?
knew it.
Yeah, so I probably pull up, and because if you think of like I don't know who the Cousin Eddie is in my family,
It's you. That's what they say, right? Yeah.
So I can't think of who it is. It might be my uncle, but I think it's maybe we kind of do it. We're both Cousin Eddies together.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got to go with George Kittle. He's not the main character, but he always leaves me wanting a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Like I like Cousin Eddie. I wish he almost had a bigger role, but maybe his role's just perfect. Like George Kittle,
maybe too much would be too much.
George Kittle could be the focal point of that offense, and that's what he gets drafted for. And every once in a while, he blows up, but he always leaves you wanting just a little bit more. So
exactly, but just like Cousin Eddie, maybe it's just enough.
Maybe so.
Trying to think who the Cousin Eddie is for my holidays. Wow, hold on. She went to bed. It's your brother. All right, moving on. First of all, Trent, do you think Die Hard's a Christmas movie?
I do, but why don't you talk about your new sponsor you've had? I kind of forgot.
My new sponsor. Well, I know you guys have had worked with them, but I am recently joined the Underdog Fantasy team.
Family.
Which has been family.
The Underdog family.
You've been at it longer than me.
It's a wolf pack.
It is a wolf pack. You're right. But they've been terrific to work with. Being, as you know, you've worked with me with technology before. I am not great at it. I live up to the dad name as far as technology goes, and finding my way around new apps, new websites is not my thing. But since joining the Underdog family, I have been playing it like crazy lately. It's so easy to play. The pick'em games are so addictive. They're so fun. You can do you jump on and you do fantasy for the week. You do I've done the 2-3 person fantasy. I've done the 12-person fantasy. The drafts are so quick and easy. I mean, if I can figure it out, then anyone can figure it out, because that's just the easiest app that just works you right through it. And like I said, Trent, you've dealt with me in different aspects of technology from working with me the past 2 years. I'm not the best, and it is such an easy app to use. I love using it. So we're teaming up with the dad. Use code TFFDAD. Let them know I sent you. But it's been a blast working with them. I can't believe what I've been missing out on this time. They are just so much fun to work with.
No, it's a good company. But you asked it. I think Die Hard's a Christmas movie.
You do good.
I do. I love it. I watch it every Christmas.
Me too. I watch it every Christmas. I don't see what the debate is. I mean, it belongs there. I mean, it is. It's a Christmas movie. I don't see how it's not. I, for one, also think Gremlins and Lethal Weapon are Christmas movies, but I like to go a little step further.
Yeah,
but
you lost me there. You lost me at Gremlins, okay? But Die Hard has a Christmas tree. There's a Christmas party. There's presents, all that stuff. People say Merry Christmas. Great movie. I hadn't seen it 3 years ago. I finally watched it, and I was like, this is amazing. Like, why have I been living under a rock? This is
the first time?
First time, and I was like, this is a really good movie.
That is crazy. Since I'm from the 80s, I have no choice. It's like they give you a birth certificate, and then you just sat around waiting for Die Hard to come out, and then you watched it every year the rest of your life. But yeah, I've seen it a bazillion times. It's a Christmas movie. I think people are just being contrarian to say it's not a Christmas movie at this point. Yeah. But we have an award here. The John McClane Award goes to a guy who can come in if you're down by a lot and just single-handedly kick butt all over Nakatomi Tower to put you back in the lead. That goes to none other than Tyreek Hill. You can be down some weeks 20, 25, even 30 some weeks, and he just comes in and saves the day for you. He gets the John McClane Award.
I can't argue with that. I like Tyreek Hill. I like John McClane. And I don't know if it matters who's throwing that guy the ball. Like, I think he's just, he proved it last year. He did really good. I'm really hoping he gets that 2,000-yard season too.
Yeah, me too. It was a shame not to see him play this week, though I am a Waddle owner, so I wasn't crying too much. But he has just been a beast. And the doubts about him going last year from Kansas City to Miami. I think actually he won the Buddy the Elf Award in the article last year, traveling from Kansas City to Miami. He's a former Buddy the Elf guy, so he's like piling up our awards at his home right now.
Yeah,
I think that's why he didn't play this week. I think he was just like, this is a big week for me. I want to go back to back, dead and dude awards. I can't focus on playing right now.
And I think I've said this on the show before. I think Patrick Mahomes misses Tyreek Hill more than Tyreek Hill misses Patrick Mahomes. I'm sure they both miss each other.
I think there wasn't there a quote out there about Tyreek Hill didn't like being the number
He didn't
two,
like being
like the
number
side
two, no.
chick or something like that, or something he
Yeah.
said. But
Yeah.
I definitely can see Pat Mahomes missing him because even though Rice looks great, he's not Tyreek Hill by a long shot. So no, not at all. But moving on, my good man.
You want to hear
Everyone's
mine
seen him.
here?
I'm sorry, man.
No,
How
you're
rude
good.
of me right in the holiday season. I do that to you. What's going on here?
It's okay. This guy kind of just stumbled upon a party. He wasn't invited. He's just enough of a hero. And I think he's to come in there and save the day. My John McClane Award goes to Joe Flacco. You know,
wow, you love Joe Flacco right now, don't you?
I do like Joe Flacco, but you know what I'm saying? He was just on his couch.
I know.
Go to the coast, have a few laughs, you know, like he didn't know what he was getting into. It's just like, hey, I'll go play with the guys again. But I feel like this one actually makes a little bit of sense here, you know, like he didn't know what he was getting into. He didn't really think he was going to be the guy there that had let him back from all these drives and all this stuff. Just like John McClane didn't think he was going to go in there and be a hero. He thought he was going to a Christmas party. Ends up being the star of the show.
You're right. You know, if the other dudes are here, I insist that they clapped it up for that John McClane impression you just did with the quote right there. That was pretty dead on for a guy who's only seen it a couple of years ago.
Was it actually good or was it not good?
I'm sitting here impressed, Trent. So I don't want your ego to get bigger, but it was pretty good.
Is that right? Go to the coast, have a few laughs.
Yeah, you guys see that was even better. See?
Okay, yeah.
You're working on it. You're gonna give me next year.
I'll keep it on it.
Yeah, I want you full John McClane gear and handing out the award. So
okay,
but,
maybe like, and I thought of going another way, like maybe like a limo driver or something. You know, like who's the limo driver, or even the cop or something. I tried to get a little bit more. Well, it's John McClane, not the Die Hard Award. So
yeah, well, I mean,
those other guys.
This can go anywhere next year. So I mean, we create the awards, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we give it to the committee, and yeah.
Yep. But the next award, everyone watched it. Home Alone. Just watched it with my kids the other day. Watched 1 and 2. But this is the Woof Award. Now that scene when Kevin goes into Buzz's room, starts looking through all his personal stuff, and takes out a picture of Buzz's girlfriend. And apparently he finds her to be not attractive. So he says, "Woof, oh Buzz, woof." So this is a person that every time you look at your lineup, you just look down your lineup, you look at your bench, and you go, "Woof." That ain't good. That goes to Kyle Pitts, which we're going to talk a little bit more about the Smith here, but still, Kyle Pitts at this point. This is year 3, am I correct?
Yeah.
Kyle Pitts. And we gave it a go again this year, didn't we? I mean, some people did. I didn't, but a lot of people gave him a go again. And you see him getting dropped everywhere. I mean, what is he? Tight end 15, I think? That's not what you drafted him to be.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I'm not – it's unbelievable. It's the Arthur Smith recipe, but still –
Now, I've never seen this movie, but I was just looking up popular Christmas movies, see if I wanted to add anything. You know, Nightmare Before Christmas, haven't seen this, like I've said. There's a quote that says, where's the main quote? I just lost it. Just because I cannot see it doesn't mean I can't believe it. And that's how I feel with Kyle Pitts. If we had a Nightmare Before Christmas award, like I know I'm going to go into draft season and be like, just because I haven't seen it doesn't mean I'm not going to believe it. So he was going to be my award for that. But I have another Woof Award here, and this guy's cost me. This guy's cost me my league, basically. The Woof Award, Trevor Lawrence. He even kind of looks like Woof, but usually leaves you saying Woof after you see his stat line, and his team wins. It just doesn't make sense, like why he's so bad. And he was the guy that I was kind of like, that's the last quarterback I want to take in every draft, because I was like, I'm going to reach on quarterbacks. I just said I'm going to reach on quarterbacks from now on, but I said I'm willing to wait for Trevor Lawrence. I'm not waiting anymore. After this Trevor Lawrence year, I had a Trevor Lawrence, Calvin Ridley stack, and it's just been atrocious in that league. Bijan, Calvin Ridley, Trevor Lawrence, that's like the all dud team right there. You know,
the all Wolf team.
Yeah, the all Wolf team. I could have said all of those guys on there. So
you could have. Yeah, Trevor Lawrence, my first draft of the year, I purposely waited out for him while everyone else grabbed the top quarterbacks, and I sat there just laughing about how these guys are just going to be reaching for quarterbacks, reaching for Josh Allen, and Trevor Lawrence to be just as good as them in the year at the end of the year, and it did not work out that way. And now I think he's in concussion protocol now, right? So he's not probably going to be able to help us this year.
I saw
this week.
something. So,
He's got Tampa Bay this week, which should be a studly matchup for him, but I don't think he'll play. So, and even then, do you feel comfortable playing him? Even a great matchup in the semifinals? I don't.
I don't either. And like the leagues I'm happiest in are the leagues I reached on Josh Allen in. Those are the ones I'm still alive in, where I just reach for him. And I'm kind of like at that point where I'm like, do you just take the second quarterback off the board no matter what, if you can? Or like once that first one goes, you just start pulling the trigger. What I should have done was drop Lawrence for CJ Stroud, but I didn't do that. I was like, I'm going to ride out the ship.
I did that in one of my leagues. I did drop him. I ended up grabbing Lawrence again because of this past week because of CJ Stroud. And of course, he just irritated me again. But what are you going to do? All signs point to Trevor Lawrence being. There's no excuse why he isn't. I mean, he doesn't even have the Arthur Smith excuse. You know, everything is there for him. He's got the tools.
They've catered this offense to him. You know, they got him receivers. Calvin Ridley, Etienne looks really good. The defense is playing good. There's just something that's not clicking with him, and I can't figure out what it is, other than maybe he's just not good.
He looked better last year than he looks this year, and he should be better this year. You know, it doesn't make any sense, but what are you going to do? We move on here, don't we?
Absolutely. So what do we got next?
This is the final award. The final award. This is the It's a Wonderful Life award. My wife Jen's favorite movie. We watch it every Christmas day. And that goes to a player that if you own it, you certainly had a wonderful life. And that's going to go to none other than Christian McCaffrey. If you own him, you're in the playoffs. I don't know anybody that has Christian McCaffrey did make the playoffs. If you didn't, please tweet at us. I'd love to know how else it went wrong for you. But it wasn't because of Christian McCaffrey. I mean, he's just blowing up week in, week out. Just, you know, staying healthy, knock on wood. But wow, this year.
No, I almost put Christian McCaffrey as who I have. Unfortunately, this is another one. I've seen it. It's been a very, very long time. So really long. I don't remember completely all of it. I did do some research, you know, kind of get the cliff notes for it though. And what I will say is my Wonderful Life award goes to, they talk about counting your blessings in that movie. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
So my Wonderful Life award goes to Patrick Mahomes. He needs to learn to count his blessings and realize how good he has it and how much he has benefited from things that he complains about so much. The guy complaining about bad calls, the guy's won Super Bowls off of bad calls. You know what I mean? You can't, it goes both ways. The refs are never going to be perfect. They're human. And I think most time the refs do a really good job. You know, you watch stuff in slow-mo and you're like, oh, okay, I could see why he called it like that, or he actually got it right. But the game is so fast. I don't think he's in the spot to really complain about refs and all this stuff. Like the Kadarius Toney, the fit he threw after Kadarius Toney. It's like you just came off a Super Bowl for a very a call that pretty much, you know, is the only thing people really talk about in the Super Bowl is that in the tush push, you know, but that's kind of in the grass, the bad grass and the holding call at the end of the game. So I think he needs to count his blessings there. So that's
I agree. I agree. And, you know, I'd like to say, I said this at the end of the article last year. It's the paraphrasing from It's a Wonderful Life, the note that Clarence leaves Jimmy Stewart's character at the end. But no man is a failure who has dudes. And going into the holidays, I just want to tell you guys have made this the most successful season that I've had since doing the Fantasy Dad thing. And a lot of it comes to the videos we've done, the back and forth that me and you have done. And I just want to say, but at Christmas time, you speak what you're appreciative for. Maybe Pat Mahomes needs to start doing that.
It's true.
But yes, you guys, I tell everybody, this is the best podcast out there for fantasy information. Of course, I throw myself in with that for my start sits. My start sits that I said I was never going to do.
Yeah, that's my favorite. You said I'm not a start sits guy, Trent. I'll never do that. And here you are a year later getting blown up on Twitter for doing start sits.
Yes. For anyone who doesn't know, when I used to write the Dad Moves article for the Fantasy Dudes, I was texting with Trent one time and he mentioned start sits. And I said, I'll never be the start sit guy. And now I'm the start sit guy. And the crazy thing is I'm having a blast doing it. I mean, it's a lot of work. You know, I try to get to every single possible question. I beat myself up if I don't get to it. But I am having a blast doing it this year, and I love being partnered up with you guys again. And this has honestly been, I mean, I didn't think it could be more fun than last year, but I feel like this year it's been awesome working with you guys, and all four of you guys have been awesome. So,
yeah, no, right back at you. We appreciate you. It's been a fun season for sure. It's coming to an end. And a little tip you always talk about is even when your team doesn't make playoffs, keep watching, take some notes, get ready for the following season, so because we want to win, and if you want to win tomorrow, you need to practice winning today, I
agree. You always want to look at when the fantasy season ends, there's always that player or a couple players that emerge in the NFL playoffs. And you don't want to be looking at your draft next year wondering why this guy's ranked where he is. You want to be ready to go. Same thing with the NFL draft. This fantasy thing, it's a year-round thing. You know that. Got to stay on it.
I have fun doing it too. It's a lot of fun. It's a good time. And, even though you like Notre Dame, Tom, you're a pretty cool guy and we appreciate you. So, we can't all be absolutely perfect, but
I guess not.
Yeah. So, no. Hey, we're going to have to do this again. We're going to have you on more this off season. It's a little tough with the time change, but thanks for, pulling through, to be on the pod tonight. I know you're not feeling absolutely 100%, but
I'm highly medicated for this show. I came ready to go.
Okay, perfect. I think that kind of does it. If you want to say anything else,
No, I'm good. I want everybody to have a happy holidays, and I appreciate everyone who sends their start sits to me and trusts me with that every week. And I'm sure you guys feel the same for your pod listeners. So happy holidays to everyone, and it's been a blast doing all this for all of you.
All righty, guys. Remember, give him a follow at TFF Dad. Thanks for coming in, Tom, again. It's been a fun show.
This has been another episode of the Fantasy Football Dudes podcast. Remember to rate, review, and follow. For more information, go to www.thefantasyfootballdudes.com. And remember, we are sorry for absolutely nothing.